The March 2026 Visa Bulletin just dropped. And if you are in the EB-2 category and you are not from India or China, the government just opened a door for you that has been locked for over 3 years. Rest of World EB-2 is now fully current on the dates for filing chart. That means if you have an approved I-140 and you have been sitting on the sidelines waiting, watching every bulletin with your priority date just out of reach, this month you can file your I-485. You can begin the final leg of your journey to a green card. But here is what no one is telling you. This window could slam shut. The State Department itself issued a retrogression warning inside this very bulletin. And the clock, for many of you, started the moment you opened this video. We are breaking down everything in the March Bulletin right now. What these numbers mean, who they affect, and exactly what you need to do before this window closes. Do not move. Welcome back to Legal Focus USA. This channel exists for one purpose: to cut through the noise and give you clear, accurate, timely immigration news so you can make informed decisions about your future. Every month, when that Visa Bulletin drops, we are here to translate it from government language into plain English. Today, we are doing a complete breakdown of the March 2026 Visa Bulletin with a specific focus on the EB-2 category, the most dramatic movement we have seen in any bulletin in years. We will cover what the two charts actually mean, who benefits from this month's numbers, who is still waiting, and what the hidden risks are inside this bulletin that most people are going to overlook. Before we go any further, a quick but important note. I am not an attorney. Nothing in this video constitutes legal advice. This content is produced for educational and news purposes only. Your immigration situation is unique to you, and you should always consult a licensed immigration attorney before making any filing decisions. With that said, let's get into this bulletin. Every month, the State Department publishes the Visa Bulletin with two separate priority date charts, and understanding the difference between them is absolutely fundamental. If you mix them up, you could misread your eligibility entirely. Let me explain this clearly once and for all. The final action dates chart is the harder, stricter standard. A date on this chart tells you when a green card can actually be approved, when USCIS can finalize your case and stamp your permanent residence. If your priority date is before the final action cutoff for your category and country, USCIS can complete your green card. If it is not, they cannot. The dates for filing chart is the earlier, more permissive threshold. A date on this chart tells you when you are allowed to submit your I-485 and your adjustment of status application to USCIS, even if the government is not yet ready to actually approve your green card. Think of it like getting in line. You can get in line, you can file your application, lock in your place, and start accessing important benefits, even though the front of the line has not moved up to you yet. And here is why getting in line matters so much. The moment you file an I-485, you can also file Form I-765 for a standalone employment authorization document and Form I-131 for an advanced parole travel document. That means your work authorization and your ability to travel are no longer tied to your employer's H-1B. Your legal status in the United States becomes significantly more protected, more portable, and more resilient, while your green card case continues to be processed. Now, for March 2026, USCIS announced it will honor the dates for filing chart for all employment-based categories. This is the fifth consecutive month USCIS has made this choice. That is not an accident. That is a deliberate signal that USCIS wants people to file. The agency has more capacity than it anticipated, and it is actively encouraging applicants to get their packets in. So what do the actual numbers say? Let's go through the EB-2 category specifically, because this is where March 2026 is historic. For rest of world, meaning every country except India and China, EB-2 on the dates for filing chart is now fully current. Not almost current, not just ahead. Current. The letter C. Any priority date, any year. If you have an approved I-140 and you are chargeable to a non-backlogged country, you can file right now. To put that in perspective, last month, February 2026, the dates for filing cutoff for EB-2 rest of world was October 15th, 2024. The month before that, it was also October 15th, 2024. The jump from October 2024 to fully current in a single bulletin is enormous. And the last time this category was current on the filing chart was November 2022, more than 3 years ago. On the final action date side, the stricter chart, EB2 Rest of World, also moved forward significantly, advancing more than 6 months from April 1st, 2024 to October 15th, 2024. Your green card cannot be approved yet unless your priority date is before that October date, but the filing window is wide open. Now let's talk about India and China, because the story here is more complicated and more people need to hear the honest version. But here is the catch that most people are missing: the incredible forward movement in this bulletin. The reason EB2 Rest of World jumped all the way to current is not primarily good news about visa supply. It is a side effect of a restriction. And if you do not understand that, you will not understand the risk embedded in this bulletin. Here is what happened. On January 21st, 2026, the State Department implemented an indefinite pause on immigrant visa issuance for nationals of approximately 75 countries. These are countries the administration identified as having elevated public benefits usage rates. The pause covers a wide range: countries across Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. When those consular posts stopped issuing immigrant visas, they stopped consuming visa numbers from the annual cap. Demand in the consular pipeline dropped. The visa office, which sets the bulletin dates based on projected demand, saw the cap usage fall, so it could advance the cutoff dates more aggressively without risking oversubscription. The same thing happened in 2020 and 2021 during the COVID-era consular closures. Shutdowns reduced demand, dates advanced, and then, when processing resumed and demand surged back in, dates retrogressed, sometimes sharply and quickly. The March 2026 Visa Bulletin includes this exact warning from the State Department itself. If immigrant visa demand increases, or if the administration modifies those restrictive actions, retrogression may be necessary before the fiscal year ends on September 30th, 2026. That is your window, March through September, 7 months at most, possibly less. Now, for EB2 India, this month's movement is genuinely significant, even within the constraints of the country cap. On the dates for filing chart, India EB2 advanced by 335 days, nearly 11 months, moving from December 1st, 2013 to November 1st, 2014. That is the largest single-month jump India EB2 has seen in years. On the final action dates chart, India EB2 advanced 2 months, from July 15th, 2013 to September 15th, 2013. Let me be transparent about what that means in context. If you are an Indian national who filed your I-140 in 2013 or earlier, meaning your priority date is before November 1st, 2014, you can now file your I-485 in March under the dates for filing chart. That is a real and meaningful opportunity for people who have been waiting for many years. But if your priority date is from 2015, 2016, or later, the wait continues. The 7% per country cap in U.S. immigration law means that demand from India dramatically outpaces available numbers each year, and the backlog measured in total waiting time runs into decades for many applicants. For EB2 China on the dates for filing chart, no movement this month. China remains at January 1st, 2022. On final action dates, China also holds at September 1st, 2021. This is where it gets critical for anyone waiting on a green card. If you are a national of one of the 75 countries affected by the immigrant visa pause, and you are currently inside the United States on a valid non-immigrant visa, an H-1B, L-1, or similar status, and your EB2 priority date is now current under the dates for filing chart, you have a pathway that nationals outside the U.S. do not. Adjustment of status from inside the country bypasses the consular processing freeze entirely. You file with USCIS, not a foreign embassy. The pause does not touch your I-485. This is a critical legal distinction, and it means that getting your application in now could protect you from whatever happens with that pause going forward. Let me make this real for a moment, because behind every priority date and every chart in the Visa Bulletin, there is a person, there is a family, there is a life on hold. Imagine Damla. She is a software architect from Turkey, it's a rest of world country, who has been in the United States for 9 years on an H-1B visa. Her employer filed an I-140 petition for her in 2022. It was approved. She has been checking the Visa Bulletin every single month since then, watching the EB2 Rest of World cutoff inch forward month by month. October 2023, April 2024, October 2024. Always just beyond reach, always another few months away. Last month, February, the cutoff was still October 15th, 2024. Damla's priority date is February 3rd, 2023. She was still outside the window, still waiting. And then March 2026 drops, and the chart reads, See current, all priority dates. For the first time in 3 years, Damla can actually do something. She can file. She can put her I-485 packet together, get her medical exam done with a USCIS designated civil surgeon, submit her biometrics, and get in line for the green card she has been building her entire professional life in America around. But here is the moment of tension that every attorney is watching right now. The bulletin warns of retrogression. If Damla waits, if she assumes current means current forever. And the April bulletin pulls that date back to October 2024 because demand surged and numbers are running out. She loses her window. She goes back to waiting. Maybe for months, maybe longer. The window is open. The question is whether she walks through it this month or whether she waits and risks finding it closed. If you are Damla, or if you know someone who is, the rest of this video is for you. Let's be concrete. Here's what you need to do right now if the March bulletin potentially applies to you. Step 1. Verify your eligibility. All 3 components of it. Before you file an I-485, you need to confirm 3 things are in place. First, you need an approved Form I-140, the immigrant petition for alien workers, filed by your employer, or in the case of a national interest waiver, by yourself. Without an approved I-140, there is no I-485. Second, your priority date. The date your I-140 was filed, or in some cases the date your labor certification was filed, must fall before the applicable cutoff in the March Visa Bulletin for your category and country of chargeability. For EB-2 Rest of World, on the dates for filing chart this month, any priority date qualifies. For EB-2 India, on the dates for filing chart, your priority date must be before November 2014. Third, you must be in a valid immigration status inside the United States or eligible for adjustment on another basis. If you are outside the country, you will need consular processing. And if your country is affected by the pause, consult an attorney immediately before making any travel or location decisions. Step 2. Start assembling your I-485 packet right now, especially the medical exam. The I-485 is not a single form. It is a packet of documents, fees, supporting evidence, photographs, and critically, a sealed medical examination conducted by a USCIS designated civil surgeon. That exam is filed on Form I-693. The civil surgeon must conduct your physical examination, review your vaccination records, and seal the Form I-693 in an envelope before you submit it. You cannot use just any doctor. You cannot use your primary care physician. You must find a USCIS designated civil surgeon in your area. You can search for one directly on uscis.gov. Here is the timing issue. Civil surgeon appointments are in demand, especially when a bulletin creates a rush like this one will. In the days and weeks following a bulletin like March 2026, immigration attorneys and their clients flood civil surgeon offices with appointment requests. Call now, schedule now. The sealed I-693 is typically valid for 2 years from the date of the civil surgeon's signature, but it must be presented to USCIS before it expires. Do not let a scheduling delay cost you this filing window. Along with the I-693, your I-485 packet will typically include Form I-131 for advanced parole if you plan to travel internationally, Form I-765 for your employment authorization document if you want a standalone EAD independent of your employer's H-1B, passport-style photos, a copy of your I-140 approval notice, evidence of your immigration status, a copy of your passport biographic page, a copy of your birth certificate, and the required filing fees. This is not a checklist you want to assemble in 24 hours. Start now. Step 3. Protect yourself from the scam surge that follows every major bulletin. Every single time the Visa Bulletin makes a dramatic move, predatory actors move with it. There are already fraudulent services advertising I-485 fast-track processing, guaranteed approval timelines, and expedited civil surgeon access for a fee. These are scams. USCIS does not authorize any third-party service to expedite your case outside of the official premium processing program, which is available only for specific petition types and not for I-485 applications. A notario, A document preparation service or an unlicensed immigration consultant is not an attorney. If someone is guaranteeing you an outcome in immigration, that is a disqualifying red flag. Verify that any attorney you work with is licensed by checking your state's bar association website. Now let's zoom out. What does the broader trajectory of this fiscal year look like? The fiscal year ends September 30th, 26. Between now and then, several forces will pull the dates in different directions. If the administration lifts or modifies the immigrant visa pause affecting 75 countries, consular demand will surge back. That surge will absorb visa numbers rapidly, and the visa office may need to pull dates back, meaning retrogression, to prevent the annual cap from being breached before September 30th. The State Department's own language in the March Bulletin acknowledges this possibility explicitly. On the other hand, if the pause continues through the end of the fiscal year, dates for row applicants could remain favorable or even hold current longer than expected. No one can predict with certainty which scenario unfolds. The responsible posture, the one that immigration attorneys across the country are advising right now, is to treat the current window as finite and to move as quickly as your situation allows. Additionally, watch for the April 2026 bulletin, which should publish in mid to late March. If Row EB-2 retrogresses in April, those who filed in March under the dates for filing chart will retain their place in line. Their I-485 will remain pending. Those who waited will go back to watching the bulletin again. One more thing for India EB-2 applicants specifically. If your priority date is now current on the dates for filing chart for March 2026, meaning it is before November 1st, 2014, and you have not yet filed your I-485, the window for you is equally urgent. The 335-day jump this month could very well be followed by slower movement or even retrogression as demand from newly eligible Indian nationals surges into the USCIS system. The same logic applies. File now, lock in your place, do not assume the dates will hold. Let's bring it all together. The March 2026 Visa Bulletin is one of the most significant bulletins in recent memory for EB-2 applicants. Rest of World and Philippines EB-2 are now fully current on the dates for filing chart, the first time since November 2022. India EB-2 on the dates for filing chart advanced by nearly 11 months to November 1st, 2014. USCIS is honoring the dates for filing chart for the 5th consecutive month. And the window, while it is real and it is open, carries an explicit retrogression warning from the State Department. If your priority date is current this month, the action plan is clear. Verify your I-140, check your priority date, call a civil surgeon today, and start assembling your I-485 packet. Do not wait for April's bulletin to make a decision that March is giving you the opportunity to make right now. If you want accurate, fast, and reliable immigration updates, subscribe to Immigration Path USA right now and turn on notifications. Immigration policy is changing rapidly, and staying informed is no longer optional. It's essential. Drop a comment below with your priority date and country of chargeability. I read everyone. And share this video with someone in your network who has been waiting on their EB-2. This is the update they have been hoping for. I will see you in the next one.